Today, we are talking about my 5 top ways to save time. Get started with my top 5 tips on ways to save time. I want to mention at the end of this video, I'm going to be previewing a future segment. So after you watch all the way through, I'd really like your input on what you think about my next topic. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Also, I wanted to bring up, last time we talked about New Year's resolutions, and I talked a little bit about saying yes and no, meaning when you say no to something, it's because you've already said yes to something else, something with a bigger purpose, maybe a bigger calling on your life. Make sure you're really deciding where you wisely choose to spend that 24 hours of your time. And speaking of spending time, we're going to get to my first tip. Number 1 way to save time is by planning your day at night. So there's a really great statistic that says 10 to 12 minutes planning your day ahead of time can save you as many as 2 hours of wasted time during the day. So right there, you've already saved a chunk of time. I really try to, 10 minutes before I go to bed, sit down for the day and look through my calendar, see what my husband has going on, what I have going on, what I didn't get accomplished that day that needs to be carried over to the next day, what else I need to do the next day. All those things are laid out and written down, pen and paper style, not just on my phone, but written out so I can see them clearly, the to-do list, everything, so that when I go to bed, all those little things that float around in my head, I don't know how you are, but I always have little things like, oh, I can't forget to do this, I have to remember that. Half those things get forgotten anyway, and they just keep me up at night because I'm thinking about how I can't forget them. So taking that 10 minutes to write everything down lets me go to bed, I don't have to worry about anything, and when I get up the next morning, I hit the ground running, and I'm ready to go, and I'm not wasting 2 hours of my day. Tip number 2, meal prep and an Instant Pot. A meal prep, I'm talking about planning, not necessarily the night before, but I'm talking about planning on a Saturday or Sunday for the full week ahead. Lay out things you'd like to eat, things that you can eat that you have ingredients for. You can lay out, if you need ingredients, what you need to get before the week starts. It eliminates unnecessary dinners out. It eliminates stress. It makes your life easier. The other part I really want to stress is the Instant Pot. I love the Instant Pot. This is something new to me. I just got one this past Christmas, so it's fairly new, but I can tell you I've already made delicious chicken wild rice soup, barbecue pork chops, one-pot spaghetti. Ham loaf was amazing. I made made real mashed potatoes in less than 20 minutes. Another reason I really like the Instant Pot is it's one pot cooking, so it also makes your cleanup easier, which is a big plus for me. You can brown meat in the pot and you can cook in the same pot and everything is done literally in that one pot. It's an amazing invention and I highly suggest you check one out. So tip number 2 is to meal prep the week ahead, and get an Instant Pot. Tip number 3 is probably easiest in theory, but not so much practice. And my tip is to wake up early. So keep in mind, this is coming from a woman who wakes up at 2 a.m. early. I don't necessarily have to wake up at 2 a.m. to make sure I get to work on time, but I do have to wake up at 2 a.m. to give myself a little edge and a little time to plan out the day so I'm not running around like a crazy person at 3 in the morning. When you wake up a little early before everyone else is up, it lets you look through the agenda that you laid out the night before, enjoy a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and just get your mindset for the kind of day that you want to have. That 15 minutes can make all the difference. So my tip for you is number 3 is to wake up early. My 4th tip for saving time probably saves me the most time overall, and that tip is to lay out everything you're going to wear for the week ahead on a Sunday afternoon. How many times have you stood in your closet and looked at everything and said, I don't know what to wear? Well, the good thing with this tip is you only have to do that once, because when I go in that closet on Sunday, I think I have nothing to wear, but I manage to come out with 5 outfits every time, and I don't have to think about it again for the rest of the week. It lets me enjoy my evenings with my family more. I can put my boys to bed without one more thing hanging over my head. I have to figure out what I'm gonna wear tomorrow. No, it's all taken care of ahead. 20 minutes on a Sunday to get it done once versus 20 minutes a night. You pick which option you'd rather use. And last but not least, tip number 5, and that is managing your time wasters. These are going to be different for everybody, so you're going to have to figure out what your time wasters are. Some ideas of what I'm talking about: social media, maybe softball leagues, video game playing, television watching. Maybe for some people it's snacking or eating. Whatever you do that you start and then you look up and you don't realize that an hour and a half or 2 has passed, That's your time waster. I know for me, a big one is social media. I'm on social media all day long for work, and I love it. I love interacting with all of you, but personally, I try and really make an effort when I get home with my boys to limit how much I access Facebook. By saying no to Facebook when I'm at home, it's because I've already said yes to my family, and it gives me more quality time with them. If I schedule posts, whatever I need to do to get through the afternoon, and that time is focused in with my family, and then maybe after I've laid out my plan for the day before I go to bed, I get on and check real quick, or most often I just wait until the next morning. So once again, tip number 5, figure out what your time wasters are, and then figure out how you can best manage them. That rounds out my top 5 ways to save time. Hopefully I gave you some ideas. I'd love it if you have ideas I didn't share. Leave those in a comment below. I always like seeing what you're thinking and what your thoughts are. Also in the show notes, you'll see a couple websites. I reference them throughout this segment. You can check those out, and maybe those will give you some ideas as well. Lastly, my next video is going to be on my top 5 ways for you to increase your energy. And so I'm really curious to hear maybe about some of the things you do, whether it's a special smoothie or a special sleep technique, whatever it is. If you feel like it, share those in the comments and I'll take a look into them, and maybe I'll be able to feature or share those in my next segment. So as always, connect with me on social media. I love it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'd love to hear from you. And until next time, we'll see you.